Jay Thomas, I got Tony. You can see the picture behind him. That's how you usually look when you see a movie like this after you leave. I'm telling you, Tony, let's talk about Sin Help. We're talking about Sin Help. We're also going to talk about Shelter. But right now, let's get started with Sin Help because it's a very interesting movie. Go ahead.
So, as you know, we like to give it to you straight here. All right. There's a lot of
Yes.
over the top, hyperbolic praise for this film, and I just don't understand it. Look, it's director Sam Raimi. I like his films, okay? Great director. This just is missing quite a bit. It borrows from so many different films here. Triangle Sadness is the number one that comes to mind, but it's your typical lost on a deserted island after a plane crash story. You know, what no one has mentioned here so far is there's two major issues I have in the first 25 minutes of this film. It is painfully slow building anything. And you're trying to make Rachel McAdams, who is a beautiful actress and beautiful woman, you're trying to make her look ugly intentionally. And it just doesn't work. And it almost backfires in their face, in my opinion. You know, it has some Raimi moments. There's a boar fight scene, which will have people talking for sure. But for a film that is really built as a thriller and kind of psychological and stuff like that, it's pretty straightforward. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it was okay.
I would agree with you on that. It was definitely just okay. That was about it. How do you survive a plane crash like that in the ocean as far as they were when they went into the ocean from the island? That was number one. And you talking about screaming scenes. Guys, the picture behind them, there's a certain scene in there. You're going to be doing that, watching what's happening. But don't worry, it's okay. Tony knows what I'm talking about. And the other thing is, wait a minute, a deserted island? Wait a minute, what's this? Oh man, it's a lot of fun. You're right. I just couldn't get it. And it was like the little kid getting back at the big bully. That's all it was to me. Junior high stuff, which is happening right now. You know where, DC. Again, I'm going to give it two and a half, maybe three, if that, Tony.
Yeah, I'm good with a 3 out of 5. Look, it's not a bad film, but it's not a great one either. And for all the people on social media and that you've seen, it's got a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Go in with lower expectations, you'll probably be entertained, but there's no reason to pay full price. It's a good discount Tuesday film, and I'm sure it'll play great on stream.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Shelter 2026 film. There's quite a few other movies called Shelter, but this one, Shelter, Jason Statham, he doesn't let me down. Actually, this is a little different for Jason Statham as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to have to say it. It was a little bit of Bourne and a little bit of Bond to me. That's exactly what it was. A little bit of Jason Bourne and a little bit of James Bond. And it had a story to it, it had a plot to it, and it was kind of cool, man. Bill Nighy always plays some kind of bad guy, whether he is a creature or a human being. He's always the bad guy. So get ready for this. A former assassin is forced to kill his former organization to protect a girl who's been supplying him on a deserted island. That's where he's hiding at. And a young lady gets stuck on the deserted island. She's actually the daughter of, no, she's the nephew or the niece of one of his, can you say black ops partner?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that. You can say that. So she doesn't know what's going on, but Jason knows what's going on, and he's actually pretty good. I like the plot in it, and it gave you a little bit of Bourne because there's a line in it from Bourne that's actually in this movie. Do you know what you're doing? You see what they make us do? That was kind of in there in that fight scene on the pier, so that was kind of cool. What you think about Shelter? I thought it was great.
I had a blast with this, and I will admit, I went in, I saw zero footage. All I saw is another Jason Statham film in January. So you never know what you're going to get. You know, you had Beekeeper, then you had a Working Man last year. I had a blast with this. It's entertaining. It's relentless. He mentioned Bond and Jason Bourne. This is very much in the spirit of John Wick. You've got the club techno EDM music. You've got the gratuitous violence. You know, he's a trained assassin, and there's also, we won't give into too many spoilers, but some similar motivating factors that people will be able to connect between the two. But this one, I had a lot more fun with this than I was anticipating. Now, having said that, the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, it takes a while to get its legs and to get going. And then it turns on a dime and becomes a completely different film from what it was. There it becomes like an espionage thriller and violent and everything else like that. But for Jason Statham, I thought he did a pretty solid job. And I hope people see this one. This one was a lot of fun. I was impressed.
I'm gonna
For a
say three and a
January
half.
film, it felt like something you see in March or September, not in January.
Right. I'm going to say 3.5, maybe four on this one for Jason Statham. I have to say that, especially this time of year.
Yeah, I say 3.5 out of 5. Look, if it would have cleaned up the start a little bit more, and then there's a little bit towards the end where it's getting a little muddled, a little slow moving. The pacing issues have got some of that. It's about like an hour 49, hour 52, somewhere in between. You trim a little bit of that off, make it a little more quick, more snappy. You got a better film. But overall, like I hope people do see this one out. I know it's got minimal marketing, but it's worth the watch for sure.
Speaking of minimum marketing, we're going to kind of sneak this in too. Guess what, guys? He mentioned Beekeeper. Guess what? There is going to be a Beekeeper too. Get ready for it. All right. Talk about the Oscars. They've already got the nominations out. Let's talk about Best Documentary Short Film, All the Empty Rooms, Armed with the Camera, The Life and Death of Brent Renault, Children No More, Where and Are Gone, The Devil is Busy. Yes, he is. And Perfectly a Strangeness. Okay, that's the best short documentary. Out of that group, who do you think is going to win?
All the Empty Rooms. I remember when I watched that the first time. I think it's like 20 minutes long, maybe. And it is just an emotionally affecting film that really just points out, the major epidemic we have, with school violence. And it really is, it's heartbreaking, it's sad. And, these parents are so brave for telling these stories, of their children who are no longer with them, but they're hopefully trying to send a message as well for people to wake up and realize this is a major problem. And I think that anybody who's on the fence or that, is maybe, oblivious to what's going on needs to watch this film for sure.
Okay, I didn't get a chance to see the documentaries. That's why Tony's giving us a recap on it. All right, feature film, best documentary: The Alabama Solution, Come See Me in the Good Light, Cutting Through Rocks, Nobody Against Putin. Got that right. And The Perfect Neighbor.
I mean, this has been a clear cut number one since I saw it back in months ago. The Perfect Neighbor. I mean, just the way it's shot through body cam footage. The story itself is unfortunately insanely true. And there's a scene about 10 minutes, 15 minutes left in the documentary that is just going to crush your heart and have you in tears. It's a perfectly it's an example of what's wrong with society right now. And I really hope people see this one out on Netflix.
Yeah, you really will get appreciate this because if you got a mixed neighborhood and you got that one neighbor who's just not quite right. That's what this thing is about, the perfect neighbor. And you're right, it's a documentary. It's based on it is a true story. All the footage is from the camera on the police, and it's real, very real. And you're right. The last 10 minutes, yeah, it's going to be kind of. I felt for the kids in this. I really did. It just wasn't right the way it happened. And all I can say is this: got to be a little bit smarter. If you got that neighbor out there, stay away. Stay away, definitely. So I have to agree with you too. I enjoyed The Perfect Neighbor when I saw it. So I think that should win, definitely. All right, folks, that's it. We're going to be talking about other Oscar stuff as the week goes on. Have a great weekend. Well, I
All
forgot I
right.
saw The Perfect Neighbor. Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I watched Jericho left the room because she